He lived in a car, woke up in parking lots, washed in gas station sinks. But through it all, he never let go of the dream. Steve Harvey, before the suits, before the stage, before the fame, he was just a man with a vision no one believed in. Hey there, I'm Alex, and today we're diving into the incredible journey of a man who went from rock bottom to the top of the entertainment world. We're talking about Steve Harvey, folks. You might know him as the charismatic host of Family Feud, or the guy with the perfectly tailored suits and that iconic mustache. But let me tell you, the road to success for Steve was anything but smooth. You see, Steve Harvey didn't grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth. He didn't have connections in Hollywood or a trust fund to fall back on. What he had was something far more powerful, a vision, a dream that burned so bright it lit up even the darkest nights when he was sleeping in his car. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, my dreams changed faster than my socks. One day I wanted to be an astronaut, the next a professional pizza taster. But Steve, he had laser focus. He wanted to be on TV every single day, and he didn't have a plan B. Why? Because he believed in plan A with every fiber of his being. Imagine telling your friends and family that you're going to be a famous TV personality when you're broke, no experience. And let's be honest, not exactly fitting the typical Hollywood mold. They probably looked at him like he had lost his mind. But Steve, he just smiled and kept pushing forward. Now, let's talk about that car. It wasn't a fancy sports car or a luxury sedan. It was a beat-up old thing that most people wouldn't look twice at. But for Steve, it was home. He'd curl up in the back seat, using his dreams as a blanket to keep him warm on those cold nights. And let me tell you, those nights were cold and long and lonely. But Steve, he never complained. Not once. You know why? Because in his mind, he wasn't homeless. He was just between homes. He wasn't broke. He was pre-rich. So every morning he'd wake up in that car, look in the rearview mirror and say, "Today's the day, Steve. Today's the day you make it." Now, I don't know about you, but if I had to shower in a gas station sink, I'd probably give up on my dreams and settle for a regular 9-to-5. But not Steve. He saw those sinks as his personal spa. He'd lather up, rinse off, and walk out of there feeling like $1,000,000, because in his mind he was already a star. The rest of the world just hadn't realized it yet. Most people would have thrown in the towel. They'd have said, "You know what? This comedy thing isn't working out. Maybe I should get a real job." But Steve, he kept grinding, kept showing up at comedy clubs, even when the audience was just 3 people and a disinterested bartender. He kept writing jokes, even when the only one laughing was his reflection in that gas station mirror. Now, let's talk about rejection, because boy, did Steve face a lot of it. He was rejected by clubs, by agents, by women he tried to date. Heck, he was even rejected by people he asked for spare change. But here's the thing about Steve. He didn't see rejection as a stop sign. He saw it as a detour. A little voice in his head would say, "Okay, that didn't work. What's next?" Every no he heard was just fuel for his fire. Every door that slammed in his face was just motivation to knock harder on the next one. He didn't escape the struggle. He embraced it. He used it. He let it shape him, mold him, transform him into the man he knew he could be. You know, it's easy to look at successful people and think they've got it all figured out. But the truth is, success is messy. It's ugly. It's painful. And Steve Harvey, he lived every bit of that pain. But he didn't let it break him. He let it make him. Now, let's talk about that first big break. Because every success story has one, right? That moment when everything changes. For Steve, it came in the form of a phone call. One gig. One chance to prove himself. But here's the kicker. He had no money to get there. No car, no bus fare, nothing. God. Most people would have given up right then and there. They'd have said, "Well, I guess it wasn't meant to be." But Steve, he hustled, he begged, he borrowed. He did whatever it took to get to that show, because he knew that this was his shot. And you know what? He nailed it, got on that stage and he killed it. The audience was in stitches. The club owner was impressed. And from that moment on, Steve Harvey never looked back. But here's the thing. Success isn't a straight line. It's not like Steve went from that one good show to instant stardom. No, he faced more challenges. There were lawsuits, there were bankruptcies, there were people who tried to take advantage of him, who betrayed his trust. But by now, Steve had learned something crucial. He had learned that pressure doesn't crush champions. It creates them, refines them. Like coal under intense heat and pressure becomes a diamond, Steve used every setback as a setup for something greater. He turned rejections into redirections. He turned obstacles into opportunities. When life knocked him down, he didn't just get back up. He came back stronger, wiser, more determined than ever. And slowly but surely, the world started to take notice. He landed a gig hosting Showtime at the Apollo. Then came the Steve Harvey Show. Then Family Feud. Books followed, talk show, a radio show. Steve Harvey wasn't just on TV every day. He was everywhere. But he became more than just an entertainer. He became a symbol, a beacon of hope for every underdog out there. For every person who's ever been told their dreams are too big, their goals too lofty. Steve Harvey stood as living proof that your circumstances don't define your potential. You know, a lot of people look at Steve and they see the suits, they see the smile, they see the success. But what they don't see is the struggle. They don't see the nights spent sleeping in that car. They don't see the countless rejections, the moments of doubt, the times when giving up seemed like the only option. But Steve never gave up. And you know why? Because of faith. Not just religious faith, although that played a big part, but faith in himself, faith in his dreams, faith that if he just kept pushing, kept grinding, kept believing, something would eventually give. He spoke his dreams into existence. Every morning he'd look in the mirror and say, "Steve, you are going to be on TV. You are going to be successful. You are going to make it." And he said it with such conviction that the universe had no choice but to make it happen. But it wasn't just about speaking it. It was about staying disciplined when everything was falling apart. It was about showing up day after day, even when it seemed like no one was watching. It was about keeping that flame of ambition burning bright, even when the whole world seemed determined to snuff it out. And now, Steve Harvey stands as a role model, a blueprint for success, living proof that you can start from nothing and still achieve everything. He didn't just rise, he soared. And in doing so, he showed all of us what's possible when you refuse to let your circumstances dictate your future. From homeless to household name, from silence to millions hanging on his every word. Steve Harvey didn't just rise, he fought, he bled. He came because when your dream is bigger than your fear, nothing can stop you. And that, my friends, is the power of perseverance, the power of believing in yourself when no one else does. The power of holding on to a dream even when it seems impossible. So the next time you're feeling down, the next time you're thinking about giving up on your dreams, remember Steve Harvey. Remember the man who slept in his car, who washed in gas station sinks, who was rejected more times than he can count. And remember that he never gave up. Because that's the thing about dreams. They don't have an expiration date. You don't age out of them. As long as you're breathing, as long as you're willing to put in the work, your dreams are still valid. They're still possible. So keep pushing, keep believing, keep grinding, because you never know. Your big break might be just around the corner. When it comes, you want to be ready. You want to be able to say, like Steve Harvey did, "I've been ready for this my whole life." Remember, folks, it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. And if Steve Harvey's story teaches us anything, it's that the finish line is wherever you decide to put it. So dream big, work hard, and never, ever give up. Because you've got greatness inside you, and the world is waiting to see it. Until next time, this is Alex, reminding you that your circumstances don't define your potential. Your mindset does. So keep that mindset strong, keep that dream alive, and who knows? Maybe one day I'll be telling your success story on this channel. Take care and keep reaching for the stars.